Think that youngsters are using their parents' money to buy their $2 million condominiums, right? This video is for you. Guys, recently there's this comment, it says, frankly, don't understand how one can make it as a real estate agent with this advice. Total income only 16k, want to buy a 2.6 million property. To begin with, 720k accumulated either cash or CPF. At age 30 years old, you must be way out of touch with reality. I'm just speechless at this stupidity. So I thought all the very toxic people only appear on TikTok. I didn't know that YouTube also got people trolling as calling people names, call me stupid. So that's why it prompted me today. I am not judging, I'm not angry. In fact, I'm a person that actually take feedback very positively because I mean people make mistakes and I'm not God also. So I made mistakes as well. It prompted me to go and deep dive a little bit more so that I can do this video for you. And it's not to throw shit at this person, but it's really to do a reality check whether can people do it and to give people who are watching and you're doing your financial planning one day to buy a $2.5 million property, right? What you need to do, and is it even realistic at the first place? Because this is something that nobody taught me back then when I was in my early 20s. Basically, I thought that, I couldn't buy the property I want or will never be able to afford that property. So why not I just spend my money on small wins like maybe watches, cars, holidays and whatnot, which actually make it more and more difficult for me to afford the property that I want to. And this video, if you are somebody that is above 35 years old, I feel that it's also good that you go through this learning process as well, because you can also be the person to inspire your next generation or even your relatives like your nieces or maybe your cousins who are a little bit younger than you, so that you can be a positive influence rather than somebody that just bash down or slam people on their dreams and be a negative influence. If you are watching, please make sure you finish watching the previous video. Obviously, I never say 16,400 should buy a 2.5. I say 2.2 lah. And for those that are curious what I'm talking about, go check out the video because we received a lot of good feedbacks and comments from the clients that contacted me through this video. Go and watch it later on lah. Stay until the end because I'm going to deep dive into how you can actually afford a $2.5 million property. What are the jobs that you should be looking out for? What industry will be able to pay you? And to give you a very clear roadmap. Like this, just a glimpse, how much you need to save every month, what is your CPF, OA contribution, and with a combined income for a girlfriend 21 years old and boyfriend 26 years old, how can you actually afford a $2.5 million property before the girl actually turns 30 years old. So before we go on, if you find that these kind of topics are very interesting and it really helps out the overall community, right? So that people will be more focused on achieving their dreams rather than giving up hope on their overall financial wealth and end up spending money on things that actually they will regret later on. So like the video if you appreciate sharing like this. Thank you so much. What we're going to do this video is number one, I'll be giving you a $2.5 million property roadmap and which careers can get you there. Number two, 5 key principles to reach the $2.5 million property roadmap. And last but not least, I'll give you my advice if you want to stay ahead of your property investment journey. So before we go on, right, if you want to know what's my property journey, how I started from a $600,000 HDB flat in 2013 till today, I'm staying in a $10 million landed home right now. Go check out my personal journey, which I actually broke down by year and how much I had to actually give you a bit more assurance that today, whatever roadmap that you are watching, right, is legit lah. So for context, right, in Singapore, you usually notice that females start work full-time at 22 years old, but males are a little bit different. You actually start between 24 to 26 years old depending on your educational journey and also your NS as well. So 2 years of NS means that the guys will enter uni later, graduate later, even though the boy and girl were dating since their JC lah. And why I'm giving this is because recently I've been meeting a lot of clients who are actually in their early 30s, and that is usually the scenario, and I'm not judging, just saying the reason why we're giving this context right now, because many of the people, if you're in your early 40s or late 40s, right, you never experience this and you don't really know what is the starting pay of these people. So by the time both reach 26 years old, the girl may have already got a good head start, about 2 to 3 years of income earlier than the guy. That's why when we compare timeline, right, the starting age really matters. It really affects how much you save by the time you're in your mid-20s for the girls and also the early 30s when you are the guys. Context, the guy actually earns 6k at age 26 26 years old, and the girl at 22 years old earns a pay of $5,000. So together combined is 11,000 monthly income. So fast forward 8 years to year 2033 with a normal career progression with increments of 5% per annum in terms of your wage growth, maybe a job hop or two, 15 to 16,000 combined income is not exactly out of reach. That is exactly what you need to service a $1.87 million property for a $2.5 million property under a TDSR based on today's context. In case you think that I'm just yapping and just plucking numbers from the sky, right? I actually did this table that a girl earning a salary of 5,292 and a guy earning 6,350, which includes their yearly AWS of 1 year. If you use a 5% compounding growth for the next 8 years, right, you will see that the girl will be earning a gross income of 7,820 and the guy will be earning a salary of $9,383, guy being at age 34 and the girl will be 30 years old by then. Now the bigger objection will be 720,000 possible man, Marcus, you scum of the society, property agent trying to scam people. How is it possible 720,000? Sorry if you are saying this means to say that the people around you are not really exactly savers, but as a real estate consultant talking about money every single day, looking at my clients' investment capital, right? At age 35, 720,000 is really very achievable, which later on I will share with you. But let's run the sums right now. If you look at this table, let me know whether you think it's realistic for a 22-year-old to save $2,000 per month and the 26 years old male as well, $2,000 per month. After working for one entire year, they will have a total combined CPF OA of $31,332. By saving $4,000 combined per month, right, they would have $48,000 in cash already saved up, which leaves them to a total savings of about $80,000 just on the first year of working. It hasn't included the compounding interest. So 1 year, technically, you should be able to save at least $80,000 if you have a clear goal in mind. And if you fast forward for 8 years, right, by the time you hit year 2033, without factoring in the compounding interest, right, you will already have saved up $673,000. So if you think cannot, actually, if you look at the numbers right now, let me know whether it's possible or not. But more realistically, when the girl turns 31 years old and the guy is actually 35 years old, you will have $761,844. And if you factor in compounding interest, another $30,000 on the 300 over 1,000 savings for saving $4,000 every month, right? Actually, by the time the girl is 30 years old, you can actually afford the down payment for the $2.5 million property. The next thing we're going to talk about will be whether is it realistic to say that the fresh grad will get $5,000 and $6,000 respectively. So let's take a look at the latest number from the Graduate Employment Survey. So in year 2024, the overall median gross monthly salary for a fresh graduate in Singapore is about $4,500. But of course, it varies by the course that you actually took. So if you are in the IT, right, you are leading the pack at $5,600. Engineering graduates study a bit longer, right? Engineering. Yeah, so you study 4 years, your pay a bit higher, like $5,600. Engineering grads also get about $4,650. And this one is a business, starts at $4,500 range. And if you are the social health, humanities, those or arts, right? Sorry, like your pay start a bit lower. Example, like social media manager also start lower. So people who are in consultancy or even in sales, right, you actually earn a higher pay. So when we talk about starting salary being at $5,000 for 22 years old and $6,000 for 26 years old, all these are not like numbers I plucked from the sky. It's basically based on surveys that is done by Straits Times. And remember, those are just the starting points. With increments, promotion, and even if you job hop, crossing 8 to 10K range by early 30s is very realistic. Because if today you are someone that is in your 50s and you are not in the HR or you're not hiring, you don't know the starting pay of fresh grad, right? You may be thinking that 5-6K is unrealistic. But today, you ask me, right, if this is not my job, I wouldn't know all these things also. I wouldn't see all the super young people going to the new launch to buy properties, and I always assume that they take money from their parents. But actually, it's not true. They really save up for it. Right? Back then, when I first came out to get my first job, I remember my vacation job, starting pay at a food court, work 12 hours a day. Guess what was my starting pay? You guess?
500.
Yeah, it was $1,500 per month. My first job at OSIM, my full-time pay was $1,300 starting from plus commission. 1 month I take home about $2,001. I work 12 hours a day and only 1 off day per week, and it's not fixed pay. Fixed pay only $1,003. That was year 2003. Today, easily my starting pay for my social media manager, that time how much? But after I go and check, right, that is actually a realistic pay so that the workers won't be every day looking at job street, looking for a higher paying job. But most importantly, if you think that people are still earning the kind of pay that last time when we were just starting our job, right, is at least 1.5 to 2 times more already. Why I'm sharing this with you is that when you say that property prices are super expensive now as compared to last time, right, actually it's not realistic because income versus property price are actually matching up. And that is exactly what the ministry is trying to achieve. And if you don't believe this is actually the table by UOB Private Bank, because they always update me on this, currently we are still on equilibrium in terms of property price growth and the GDP. In a nutshell, if you want to pursue your real estate goals, you need to start planning what you really want to work as. And sometimes it's not about what you like. I mean, it's really about how you achieve your goals. I still remember back then, last time when I was in my OSIM days, I got this friend that actually quit our job at 4,000 plus per month, went to work as a prison warden, earning $2,100 per month that time. And I asked him why he want to do that, because you're basically getting a almost 50% pay cut. He said, bro, if I got the time to sit down in the prison warden, don't need to use my brain, I basically can think of how I can invest, how I can do other side hustles while I'm actually just standing there as a prison warden. Sorry to prison wardens watching this if you think your job is a lot more complex than that. Basically, he said he free up mental space, right, for him to think of how to make more money somewhere else, be it through investments or whatnot. So if you ask me, those were words from somebody who was like 23 years old. So you will be amazed by how mature people can be. So stop judging if you're down there thinking that young people are stupid. Young people are much smarter than what you think right now if you are a boomer like me. For thanking you to stay until this part, right, here's the entire table. You can pause if you wish to read. Do note, this is not a foolproof method. Why? Because as we age, right, your CPF OA contribution also reduces because the government basically is trying to plan for your retirement. So as we age, right, the OA, which is the usable part, will start to get lesser by 2%, 2%, 2%. And this is the table from CPF board. You can go pause to read if you want to. So means to say that if you want to actually achieve your goals, right, it makes more sense to start saving up your CPF much earlier, which aligns with my 3 golden principles. Part 1 is start saving and start investing early, because this aligns with the next part, 5 key principles to reach your $2.5 million roadmap. Number 1 will be consistent savings without any lifestyle inflation. Fix a savings every month and don't let the higher pay turn into higher spending. Actually, they feel because every time their pay goes up, right, their savings is still the same. That means when you make 5K, you save 2,000. You make 8K, you also save 2,000. 12K already still saving $2,000. That's what I call a lifestyle inflation. Spend the money you don't have to buy the things you don't like to impress the people that don't care. Number 2, grow your income. So through side hustles, right, or upskilling, or maybe job hops here and there, right, doing nothing is the most expensive option now. Because the truth is, basically growing your income means if you know that your industry or the company that you're working in will not be able to pay you the above equation, right, then it's time to job hop lah. I'm just saying that if you know that it's not getting anywhere, you are just staying there because your boss is very nice to you or your environment, you love it a lot, but you're getting very low pay, right, then sometimes you want to ask yourself, you're prioritizing comfort over growth. Number 3 is don't forget the power of CPF compounding interest. Number 4, start saving early. Even part-time jobs and internship actually gives you a head start. Last but not least, the most powerful one is the power of combining resources. And because dual income equals to dual CPF, as mentioned in this PDF, having a partner aligned makes it more possible to actually have a $2.5 million goal. Today, if you think that, oh no, I only 1%, how about considering co-investing with your parents? Because obviously the benefit of being old like me is I maybe have a little bit more liquidity. Being young means to say that you have better loan eligibility. So you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I pay a bit more down payment, you use your name to take up a loan and we co-invest together. There's nothing wrong because as a parent, you also want to see your children have a head start. The resource that you can combine if you are 2% is if you're going to buy a new launch, you can actually move into your parents' house and stay. That is part of what I'm talking about, combining resource. Having less ego, keep your eyes on the price, focus on delayed gratification, and that is exactly what I'm talking about, combining resources. Or after going through so much calculations and also mindsets, right, what I want to say that even if you can afford $2.5 million property, I'll still hope that you align with my 3 golden principles. which is number 1, start saving and investing early, which I already talked about. Number 2 will be constantly upsize your property investment so that your net worth increases. And last but not least, which is the important part I'm saying, try to have at least 18 to 24 months of security buffer, or if not 20% buffer on your capital outlay to avoid having to sell at a loss because you lost your job. So that sums up today's video. Share this video if you think this can help somebody out there, and I'll see you at my next week's video. Bye.